And we're live. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of Gamersledge podcast. This is episode 275. 275. I've been here for most of these. I'm Matt. With me today is Mitchell.
Hello.
Yeah. Mute the video if you're going to monitor. I really do not want to get distracted by me 5 seconds in the past, because that will drive me nuts. Welcome again. This is a video game and geekery podcast, conversation among friends. Bring a glass of whatever beverage it is, a tasty snack. We don't eat because it's really annoying if we try to eat while we're talking on a podcast, but you can eat while you watch us talk. We're here to talk about this week's, past week's video game news, the stuff that we're looking forward to, the stuff that's going on, and basically anything out there that is kind of catches our interest. So, as always, we start out by covering what it is we've been playing, watching, reading, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And Mitchell, I know first week back on the new semester, so I'm not sure you've had much time for much of anything, but what have you been up to?
Well, I've played some Monster Hunter stories. I've played some Smite. I haven't played a whole lot of it. I watched a show called Atypical, and on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. And I also watched the Godzilla show, if you can call it that.
So what's the Atypical? I haven't heard of that one.
Atypical is about a story about a high functioning autistic kid in high school who's trying to figure out romance, pretty much.
Okay. Interesting. So that was that a movie or a series?
Series, 8 episodes. Each one's about 30 to 40 minutes long, I think.
Okay, cool. You enjoy that? Would you say it's worth folks' time?
I'd say it's pretty good. I like it.
What would you say if you are a fan of this would be a thing for you?
If you are a fan of this thing, if this kind of genre, I'd say go for it. I mean, I'd say it's worth your time.
But what would you compare it to?
That's kind of hard. It's kind of like something that you see on like ABC Family.
Okay. That works. I can see that. I can work with that.
Like someone like Switched at Birth, but like more down to earth, and because most of it's from narration and the perspective of the main character, of the autistic high functioning character.
Okay. So unlike say the Good Doctor, which is kind of a third person, you're externally viewing all the characters, you're not getting you get a little more insight to what he's doing when they do the visualization stuff, but for the most part it's external. This is more
from his perspective.
Like his perspective, yeah.
Everything is narrated from his perspective as he's like talking to his therapist, kind of. That's kind of what the narration is.
Okay.
He kind of also has an obsession about Antarctica. So there's a lot of correlations. Like he does a bunch of like nature and art and correlations between like nature and Antarctica and like applying it to his life in some sort of like metaphorical type of way, which is kind of interesting. Plus, I mean, interesting animal nature facts. I mean, who doesn't like those?
Yeah, that's always a fun thing to see. And then the yeah, I sorry, I went into Godzilla last night thinking it was a regular series, and I was going to watch the first episode and see, and then basically go to bed because it was late. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Why is there only one episode?
There's only one episode. What? It's 90. This is a movie. What are we doing here, people? So they call it a series, but it's one 90-minute episode called Part 1. So I don't know if they're going to go forward with the rest of season 1 as 30-minute, 20-minute episodes, or if they're going to continue issuing 90-minute movies, or I'm not sure what the plan here is.
I wish they would have done it. Well, if this is how they're going to do it, like episode like that long every so now and then, every so often, I would have preferred it honestly if they just did it normally, the normal episodic type of way, because in this format, you don't get a lot of the stuff about the world and how everything connects together and all the elements of the different story parts. It's because right now it just kind of feels like, without trying to spoil too much,
Don't
like,
spoil anything, really.
yeah. So I won't say anything more, but
Well, here's my. I watched the first 30-ish minutes of it. Point one, I was falling asleep. That doesn't happen very often. Even if I'm really tired, that doesn't happen very often. Part two, the only synopsis I could think of is such emotion, much kaiju, but no kaiju.
that comes into the later half. It picks up a lot more in the later half.
The first half hour is not impressive to me.
Once they get done with the backstory stuff and some of the elements of that kind of stuff, like how this all came to be,
but like you said, that's the part they bum rush you with it, so it's uninteresting because you don't get into any of it. You brush the surface of it, which just makes it boring.
Weak. It weakens it a bit.
The other thing that kind of weirds me out is when everybody's just standing there talking, it looks 2D, and then something moves and it shifts to 3D, and it's kind of off-putting a little bit.
I didn't get as jarred by that. I didn't even really notice it, to be honest, but I guess I've watched a lot of the 3D animation stuff that Netflix has been doing too, and I'm used to stuff like Ruby, so I guess I'm probably just more accustomed to it than you are, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously watched 3D stuff and I've watched 2D stuff, but I guess this is the first one I've watched, and maybe that's what you're referring to, where it's kind of like Street Fighter V, where if you look at it, if you just look at a still, it looks like a sprite-based game, but when they actually move, you see there's actually three-dimensional models being used, but when they're still, they look two-dimensional. There's a style to that. I don't know what it's called, but I've seen that before, where if you take a still of a game, it looks like it's a two-dimensional hand-drawn type thing, but then when you actually see it, it's actually three-dimensional models. I think Guilty Gear did that too, didn't they?
I don't know. I haven't seen Guilty Gear.
Where when you're playing it, this last one, the Exerd or whatever it's called, when you're playing it, it almost looks like you're playing a 2D fighting game, but then they'll do the end cinematic after the fight and you realize the whole thing's three-dimensional. I think it's Guilty Gear. I'm not a fighting game guy. Sorry if I got the wrong game there, but somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. No viewers to correct me, so I guguess I'm right. No fact checking squad tonight. Are you looking forward to a second episode of this, having seen the whole thing, or are you kind of like, meh, if I'm bored and another one drops, maybe I'll watch it?
I do want to see more because I think there's a lot of potential. Like, this is one of those things where, like, if they had done like admitted like they're doing an opening movie and then an accompanying series, like that is what they told the people up front, that's what it was going to be, I would be okay with that. Like, if this was some sort of prolonged pilot and then they go to a normal episodic format here with some flashbacks to kind of fill in some of the gaps that we have, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. The messaging, at least as far as I could tell, wasn't clear that this was the approach they were going for. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to the right stuff, or maybe I just made some gross assumptions. I don't know, but it sounds like both of us were on the same page, and the same page Netflix was on.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say I liked it. It was good, but I would have preferred it if they took a slower approach to it with an episodic format.
Yeah.
Maybe like a 13-episode season instead of the hour-and-a-half movie.
Yeah, and that's almost always, I mean, for a story-centric thing, that's almost always the better format. That's why when you see something, the series, you know, it's always more in-depth. Because with a movie, you've got a fixed time and you want to fit a bunch of stuff in, so you sacrifice detail.
And I will say this, by the end of the movie, they've still only kind of scraped the tip of the iceberg of what they can do and what they're probably going to do.
Yeah, which makes sense. All right, so here's a Okay, I'll be a relative here for a second. So far, what's your favorite class? What do you think your favorite class for the semester is going to be?
Either my philosophy class with ethics, or I think psych of personality is going to be interesting too. They kind of tie into each other, but
Yeah,
in a way, because they're both kind of that same soft sciencey area. But I think it's going to be fun. I think creative writing is going to be real fun too. We had to write a short play kind of between inanimate objects, and I did the solar system. So where Mars was like the older brother of Earth, and since Venus is in between them, if I have my astronomy correctly, gods, please don't let me admit.
No, you just totally boned astronomy.
Oh well,
On the
whatever.
internet.
I don't care.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars.
Okay.
Those are
Oh
the
well,
inner
whatever.
planets.
I forgot about Mercury. Mercury doesn't need to exist.
This is an alternate reality with a different solar system.
Yes, Mars. It goes Mars, Venus, Earth.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I failed you badly.
No, my memory failed me. That I didn't feel like it was right when I was writing it, but I just went with it. So
yeah. All right, so I guess I've got a pretty short list this time. We already talked about the Godzilla anime. I've only watched the first half hour, so I'll have to finish that and see what's up. Since I started there, I might as well go through the rest of watching. Which you skipped one thing, which is interesting because you'll get it when I say it's because we watched most of it together.
well, I have, and I kind of because I felt like I wanted to. I've been continuing The Mist.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah, I actually forgot to put that one on my list. Or no, we didn't. That was before last week. We didn't watch any of that this last week because we switched over to Electric Dreams.
That's right, we did.
Which is the one you didn't talk about, which I'll come back to here in a second. So watch the latest Good Doctor. Behind on pretty much everything else. I haven't been keeping up on. I'm still not caught up on last season of Flash. Not caught up on Arrow. Not caught up on any of those. I did watch episode 1 of Black Lightning.
I'd say it seems interesting. I want to see more, but
yeah, I got to give it a few episodes before I can give a solid rating on it. I mean, the first episode didn't blow me away by far, but
right. So where I left off on Flash, is that on Netflix yet, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just need to get through that at some point.
Yeah, and so do I. So, and trying to coordinate with the other family members becomes very tricky.
I don't have that problem anymore.
I know you
I
do.
just got to coordinate with my class and my schedule now.
Yeah, well, we haven't even watched last season of Voltron yet, and so. So anyway, also still working through the last season of Enterprise. So slowly working on that. So yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Continues to be very, very, very good this season. Yeah, I'm gonna be sad when that show goes. We caught up on up till the break of this last season of Rebels. Trailer for the second half of the season of Rebels dropped, and it looks amazing because they always do really, really good trailers for that show.
Loth Wolf equal best Star Wars creature.
Yeah. Loth Wolves are freaking awesome.
That are porgs.
I need a Loth Wolf and everything now. But
imagine a porg riding a Loth Wolf.
Oh boy,
a porg wolf.
Pork wolf, oh dear. Somebody's gonna make that now. That'll be the one thing this podcast has created. Somebody will be out there making porg wolf.
At least we didn't make Ugandan knuckles.
Oh dear Lord, please don't remind me that exists. Anyway, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. really good. We saw a trailer for Cloak and Dagger, which is an upcoming freeform series. So that's looking to be pretty good. Looks very freeform, which used to be ABC Family. You've mentioned ABC Family before, and I totally forgot that it switched names. What else did I just watch recently on freeform? Because had the freeform. Sure, I don't remember something. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was just another ABC Family channel, and they had freeform ads in it. That's what it was. So let's see what else. Okay, yeah. So Electric Dreams. Electric Dreams, for those who don't know, is an anthology sci-fi show, much in the vein of The Outer Limits, based on the short stories or works of the author Philip K. Dick, who wrote Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which most people know the movie, or not most, but many people know the movie, which was roughly and more thematically than events based off of also known as Blade Runner. Wow, that was the long way of saying that. But Blade Runner is based loosely on the short novel Do Android Dream of Electric Sheep.
Do you know what we forgot to mention as well?
What did we forget to mention as well?
Blade Runner 20 something or?
Oh yeah, 2049. 2049?
I don't know. That's why I said 20 something.
I think it's 2049. Yeah, we watched the Blade Runner sequel. That is a 3-hour movie.
What?
Yeah, that was a 3-hour. It was like 2 hours and 49 minutes.
That's why it seems so long.
It was a pretty long movie. And you feel most of those minutes. You don't regret them, but you feel them.
You feel them. You don't regret it, but you feel them. You're there.
You know, also, so obviously the Blade Runner universe is based off of the works of Philip K. Dick, or PKD, if you feel like shortening it up. So I guess let's hit Blade Runner quick. What did you think of that again, trying to stay out of spoiler range? Cause it's still a relatively new movie.
Yeah. I thought it was really good.
And you haven't seen the original, right?
I haven't seen the original. So this is something that you can kind of go into as a standalone. There's a couple of things you probably don't connect as well.
Yeah. There's some stuff that you'll appreciate more after you see the original.
But it's honestly, it does fine as a standalone. It's well written but if you're looking for an action movie, this is not it, despite what the name might make you think.
Yes, Blade Runner does sound much more like an action type name. But the first movie is also very, very cerebral, not a lot of action. Although this one starts out making you almost think it's going to be an action movie because and believe it or not, this one moves faster than the original. Again, they're great movies from a theme and from a structure and from a presentation and, you know, cinematically and stuff. They are not summer popcorn flicks. So you could eat a lot of popcorn during Blade Runner 2049, but it is an excellent movie. I appreciated every minute of it. I love the callbacks. It did some great things with the story. You know, it stayed very true to the themes of the original. Is a very, very interesting thing. And I really would like to see a sequel to this because I'd like to see where they take this world. There actually was originally it was supposed to be canonical sequel to Blade Runner, which was a old point and click style video game, computer game. Never played it. So I don't know how exactly it fits into the story or if it still works in a post 2049 world or not. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. Some you enjoyed it, but yeah, you have to block out a good chunk of time to watch this movie. It is long. So Electric Dreams, which is 10, 50-minute episodes, give or take. I would say, you know, a lot of people have said it's a Black Mirror-esque. I would say it's more Outer Limits-esque, except for the couple of episodes that are almost more Twilight Zone-y than Outer Limits. You don't understand either of those references, probably.
Well, so. I get the Twilight Zone one a little bit better than Outer Limits, but
Outer Limits was more, whereas
Twilight Zone was more strictly supernatural.
It's supernatural, or there were aliens in some of them, and there are different stuff. But I mean, it was more the feel. The Outer Limits definitely tended to be more technology focused. Tended to be a little more dark than cerebral. They were cerebral, but they were more of a dark cerebral as opposed to Twilight Zone, which was more cerebral in its impact. That's the best way I can explain it. You should really watch episodes of both, but anyway. He's like, just shut up and carry on.
No.
So there are 10 episodes. If you look online, most of the episode lists are in a completely different order than they're on Amazon. This is an Amazon series, if I didn't say that. There's some pretty big names in these shows. There's a very high production value. Everything in the episodes looks great. There'll definitely be actors that you recognize in many of these. I have my personal 3 favorites that I like the best. There's a couple that were unfortunately, the one that I think was the worst was the Steve Buscemi one, which is not what you typically would think of when you think of Steve Buscemi, but it was by far my least favorite. That was the how do I say this without spoiling anything? The one with the insurance salesperson.
Okay, got it.
Tried to tiptoe around the tulips on that one. But yeah, that was definitely my least favorite of the bunch. And there was another one later that was
was that that one or the bracelet one or
bracelet? No, I actually really like the bracelet.
I really like that one too. That's why I was going to be confused. I was going to be kind of like, what?
That was one of my middle ones, actually. My top 3 are virtual reality.
Okay.
Teak.
Okay. Teak.
And Bryan Cranston. Oh, you don't know Bryan Cranston.
I'll look it up.
It's episode 3. It's the third one in the airing order. Jellyfish.
I'll just you.
Okay. Electric jellyfish.
I'll just have to look it up. Just
rocket ships. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yes, that was a good one.
Yes. Then there's have you watched the last 2 yet? Because we still had 2 to go.
I don't have I don't have the Amazon thing.
That's right. Yeah, you don't have that, so you haven't watched those. The second to last one's one of my least favorites. It's on the top of a lot of people's lists, but I personally didn't. Or did we watch that one? That was the one that was starred. The main character was the same guy that played Peter Pettigrew in the Harry Potter movies.
Yes, I saw that one. I'm trying to remember okay, yes, the train.
The train one. Yeah, okay, you did see that one. So you just didn't see the last one, Kill All Others. I kind of loved and hated the last one. It was a torn on that one, but yeah, overall it was a very well done series. Again, if you've been in this game long enough, basically like me, there's nothing new here. I mean, this is stuff you've seen or read or heard before. There's nothing genre breaking here, but they're really solid stories that really hit the themes that they're going for. So that's why some people can like one episode. It's they're all good episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Just what plays to what you prefer is really where which one's your favorite kind of hits from, which I guess is true of anything, but
yeah.
Especially with an anthology like this.
There are some though where I kind of wish they could do like an extended series on, but I mean,
yeah, that's
there'd be some continuity issues, but probably
that's the problem with short stories. You dip your toe into this world, and then you're like, man, I want to know more, and
give me more.
There may or may not ever be any more. Sometimes you're an Isaac Asimov and all of your short stories end up congealing into this huge thing. And sometimes you're Ray Bradbury and they're all one-offs,
Is Bradbury Dreams of Sheeps?
No, that's Philip K. Dick. I guess you could say Philip K. Dick. And because I don't think any of his short stories really coexist in the same world, but I am not the best read up on PKD.
Right. So there was a funny thing in class. It relates. My creative writing class, and someone said something about something like sort of semi-philosophical, like if robots were technically alive, I think is what it was. Because if they were animate objects, because we had to write the thing about inanimate objects, right? And then I'm like, well, do androids dream of electric sheep? And then my creative writing professor just broke out laughing. And she said, that's a good question.
Well, Well played. Well played. I should have sent that book with you when you went back. I didn't realize that would become so relevant. I definitely say if you have access or have access to someone who has a Prime account and you can watch that on Amazon Video, that is definitely a good way to spend slightly less than 10 hours of your time. The producers are pretty big on that too. Bryan Cranston, who is the stars in one episode, well, co-stars, I guess, in one episode, is also one of the executive producers, which I thought was pretty interesting. I never would have picked him for kind of a sci-fi anthology kind of guy, but so then the video games, really the only 2 video games I played since we last talked is I just looked at my list and I can't even remember. Uncharted Lost Legacy. Pick that back up. I'm still in the, was it Western Ghats, I think is the portion. So still early to early mid in the game, I think.
Is it the open world section or no?
Yeah, it's the open world section, yeah.
Okay.
I have all the tokens and I think I have 1 temple left, so I think I'm coming up to being done on it. On that
completionist, yeah, completionist Matthew.
That wasn't even hard. This open world area is not that big.
Yeah, you have to go, but you have to go to all the things.
But you go past most of them anyway, going to the temples.
What routes were you taking?
The ones that took me to the coins on the way to the temples. And then finally decided I was going to with the upcoming of another game in a series of long running games. Finally decided to play God of War 3. Finish up playing God of War 3. Finished it up last night. I am officially done with God of War 3.
That was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think I clocked in at about 12 hours, I think.
Really?
And that was me dying a lot. A lot.
Was it still kind of boss rushy all the way through?
Pretty much. I mean, it's not, yeah, it's very gauntlet / boss, right? You know, you're constantly
fighting something.
Okay, here's a puzzle. Now fight 1,000 bad guys of increasing difficulty, and then here's a boss, and here's a sort of boss, and then here's 1,000 more bad guys. I mean, it's very much the God of War formula. I mean, God of War was a PS2 game, and the PS3 and God of War 3 came out on PS3, but it was still very much a PS2 game, just prettier.
Right.
So I mean, it still looks good.
Right.
Oddly enough, it's still a pretty good looking game. But yeah, the fixed camera angle drove me nuts. I don't know how many times I dodged trying to turn the camera. That's just, I mean, it's very much, I remember, when people would complain about Resident Evil and the tank controls and the fixed camera, and it never bothered me back then, but with this game, oh my gosh, it was driving me nuts. Very much Devil May Cry, I think, is the first game I played that had this style, this format. Right. Very much still that same thing. Collect things, upgrade your stuff, kill bunches of stuffs. The stories,
God of War.
Yeah, it's it's kind of funny because I watched a couple of the documentary things that come with it, and I'm like, yeah, this is a really old game. I mean, in some ways, because just the concepts of like, this is one of the greatest stories ever told in the game, and this is amazing what we're doing with all this voice acting and with all the characters and all this stuff. And I'm like thinking, yeah, this is like the weakest story game I've played in a long time.
Yeah, especially having you just finished Horizon in the recent past.
Yeah, just thinking about just jumping from, say, God of War to Uncharted. I mean,
yeah,
because God of War was PS2, beginning of PS3. Uncharted was PS3 into PS4.
Yeah,
and I mean, just the difference in it still had the gauntlets, right? I mean, that's one of those kind of almost staples of games today. Is here, walk around for a bit. Now we'll throw 1,000 enemies at you. I
mean, even in Horizon, there was a bit of that too.
Yeah, there was. Although,
it felt more natural.
But it felt more natural because you were running into the herds of them more often. I mean, some of the dungeon stuff got a little that way, but it didn't feel like you were constantly being assaulted that way. You know, it was just constantly like every battle was a challenge. I was like, here's another challenge and another challenge and another challenge and another challenge. Now Kratos will scream at something. Now another challenge. Which is funny because we got the release date and a new trailer for the upcoming God of War.
You stole what I was gonna do.
Okay, well, we're getting into news now anyway, I guess, so we can just go ahead and transition into that. So have you watched it?
Yeah. We're talking about the one where Kratos is talking to a female person about his origin, how the child. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trailer that dropped like two days ago, yesterday.
So that's that one, right?
Yeah, that's the only one that I remember seeing that scene in. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, we could talk about it's a trailer. We don't have to worry about spoilers. The one where he's carrying the kid in at the end, and he has some sort of ailment.
Yeah. There are consequences to killing a god.
but the thing is he is the calm one. It's the kid who's angry.
Yeah.
He's like, there are consequences to killing a god. How did you know that? I was like, I killed an entire pantheon, you little punk.
Like, can you kill that? He just whoosh.
But I mean, we're definitely seeing a very different Kratos here.
What was the name of the kid? It showed us the name of the kid too. Like Atreus?
Atreus?
Because it reminded me of like Never Ending Story of Atreus.
Yeah, that's what I keep on thinking. Atreus. That's literally what I keep on thinking of. But I think it's Atreus or something.
I think so. I think it's
but yeah, this is looking to be a great game. Especially coming off the heels of, I mean, I know there's Ascension, which is actually a prequel, but was made after. Not going to go back and try and play that. But the I can't talk tonight. But the game looks like, I mean, amazing story, really modernized the franchise, and we're seeing the wiser, older Kratos now, so this is the grizzled veteran, the guy who survived apparently the ending of God of War 3.
Did he get impaled?
Let's just say he didn't have a really good ending for him personally, but it is left ambiguous as to exactly what the fate of Kratos was at the end of God of War 3.
I'll just have to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really old game. I shouldn't have to worry about spoiler alerts, but there might be people out there getting excited about the new God of War game and go back and buy all the PS3, they can get God of War 3 on PS4 now. I don't think you can get 1 and 2 on there, but you might be able to get them through the PlayStation Now, or you can get the PS3 bundle of the God of War 1 and God of War 2. I still think God of War 2 is actually the high point of the series so far of the 3, 1, 2.
So you think we're gonna see like a boo 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 boo?
Yeah, this one looks. I mean, obviously it looks amazing. I mean, Santa Monica Studios always does great work graphically. It looks like they're really trying to nail a solid story. I'm guessing we'll have a lot less of the
gauntlet style, or
well, it might even have that, but I'm thinking thematically. I'm like, there's some very, shall we say, uncouth stuff in the God of War 1 through 3 that really wouldn't fly in today's climate as well. With Kratos being a more calm, more wizened, more sage person, demigod, whatever he is now.
I mean, he has a kid, so question is, who is the other part?
The mother? Well, we see, she's no longer. Yeah, I mean, that's in the trailer. That's been part of the premise all along. It's not a secret. And
the question is, who was the female voice? I know there's a subtitle for it, but I missed it.
I didn't see a subtitle. I mean, we see her. Yeah, I have no idea who the character is supposed to be, but she's obviously.
It sounded like Kratos had retained his godhood because you said you are a god.
Well, and that's the question. He had the power of a god, but then he had it stripped of him, but then he's Zeus's kid, so he's a demigod at the very least.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kratos voice actor is a new person this time. It's Christopher Judge, who played Teal'c in Stargate SG-1.
Indeed.
Funny thing is if you hadn't told me it was a different person, I wouldn't have picked up on it. It sounds like
Yeah,
Kratos,
I probably wouldn't have.
you know, it sounds like Kratos. Nice to see Chris Judge getting some work. I haven't seen a lot of him since SG1 stopped. But yeah, voice acting for him I think is a good choice. He's got a very distinctive voice. But the yeah, it's it looks good. I don't know when I'll be getting to it. I'm definitely, I'm sure I will get to it. I'm not sure when. Hopefully I won't be a whole generation and a half late to playing it. But there's yeah, it's the trailer's out there. You can go ahead and take a look. It's yeah, shaping up to be a really good game.
Yeah.
So another trailer that just dropped today, I think, was we have the yes, and also with that trailer was released. Well, it was announced the release date because that was still ambiguous until this trailer dropped, and it's the 20th of April. So we're basically 3 months out from the newest God of War. If you're going to get a launch date, and if you pre-order on the PlayStation Store, you get 3 shield skins.
If that's important to you.
Yeah. The only thing that has me a little concerned about this is I heard this on another podcast that I was listening to. There's no jump in the game, apparently. That seems odd to me.
Especially with the kind of aerial stuff for combos and stuff that you could do in the.
But remember, you don't have that style of weapon anymore.
True, you have a hatchet.
You're bearing a war axe, which, if you've listened to any of the lore stuff, you kind of know what the deal with the axe is. I don't want to spoil it, but the axe is constructed for a very specific reason and with a power set to be able to do a very specific thing.
Okay, you can tell me afterwards.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, so another trailer that hit today is not a video game. It's a movie. It's a sequel to a movie you probably, if you're watching this right now, enjoyed. I know I enjoyed this movie a ton, even though it makes absolutely no sense. It is one of those movies that transcends the barrier until you get to the end, and they're like, you had a sword the whole freaking time. And that movie would be...
I didn't see the trailer drop. I don't know.
No, but what movie is it that...
You had a sword.
It's the whole freaking time.
That line seems familiar. I should know it. I'm sorry.
Well, although that's not a line from the movie. That's my line as I was watching the movie the first time.
Oh.
And the second time, and the third time, and the 40th time. Pacific Rim.
Oh, yes.
You had a sword the whole freaking time.
Well, not the whole time, only after it was rebuilt.
Okay, for 98% of the movie, you had a sword. Yeah, exactly. So Pacific Rim 2, or Pacific Rim Uprising, as it is better known, had a trailer drop today. Did you?
I'll have to watch it.
You haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet, but I am looking forward to it because I really like that movie. So
John Boyega, who you may better know as Finn from Star Wars, is one of the main characters. He is the son of Pentecost.
Is that the grumpy old man with the mustache?
The commander, the Jaeger unit commander.
Yeah. I thought he died.
Okay, all the spoilers apparently. He has a son.
Hey, it's been long enough. How many years has that movie been out?
I don't know. A while. I don't actually know. Does he die on screen? I don't remember.
I don't know.
But he's near death because it was said if he ever piloted a Jaeger again, it would kill him, and he pilots a Jaeger again. So.
If you didn't see that, if you haven't seen the movie, well, we apologize, but it's your own dang fault.
It's still enjoyable. It is an amazingly fun ride. It really is. You could pretty much know everything. I mean, there's no mysteries in this movie. This is not going to be a twist. You're never going to be surprised by anything that happens in this movie. No. But the music and the action and the visuals are just amazing. I'm a little worried about this. this trailer looks a lot better than the first trailer. The first trailer really had me worried about this movie. Second trailer, there's some things going on there I can work with. You know, you can kind of see how the world, they don't tell you a lot of stuff outright, but you can kind of see how the world put together, how it went after the ending of Pacific Rim.
My theory was that Jaegers kind of became like gladiators. Is that kind of what happened, or
that's what it's looking like? Yeah, or you know, and
like some sort of sport event, like
kind of Real Steel. Was that the name of the movie?
I think so. If I think it's the movie you're thinking about
with
boxing robots.
Yeah, boxing robots with Wolverine, except he's not Wolverine.
Yeah,
Hugh Jackman. But yeah. So it's kind of seemed, they don't tell us that, but that's what it kind of seems like. There's a either legit or a back alley type Jaeger fighting club kind of thing. And then the kaiju come back.
Ooh.
Why are they here? What do they want? How did they get here? We don't know.
That is a very good question, though. How did they get here?
Yeah, that's actually hit on in the trailer a little bit. So I'm holy dog. Sorry. I have my door closed and he's still barking that loud.
Someone not home and just got home?
Yeah, someone was not home and just got home. So,
okay.
Jeez Louise. Sorry. Hopefully nobody heard that through my muted mic. Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay. I'm back. Okay, that didn't work either. So anyway, all right. So there's a couple of pieces of our news. So let's go back and look through some more news. Do you know who John Cena is? I bet you do. He is in talks to possibly, maybe, potentially, perhaps star in a Duke Nukem movie, which seems like possibly the worst idea ever. And if you've ever seen John Cena, he clearly looks much more like a BJ Blazkowicz from Wolfenstein than he looks like Duke Nukem. I mean, okay, square jaw, I'll grant you that, but I look at him and I see a Wolfenstein star, not a Duke Nukem star, which I think you could make a good Wolfenstein movie, especially with what they've done with the more recent games. Do you know anything about Duke Nukem?
Nope, I'm smiling and nodding. Okay,
so anyway, if that's something that's in the talks, we'll have to see. For the love of Pete, there are new figures called Totaku that are licensed PlayStation figures that look like amiibos but have none of the functionality of amiibos. So they're official PlayStation licensed statue figures. I'm guessing scale, they're about that big. And they are going to be published by or put out by Think Geek, which is owned by GameStop. So they're put out by GameStop. Right now, there have been 6, I believe, announced. My computer is not cooperating with me here, but we have Crash Bandicoot Kratos 7, Crash Bandicoot Kratos, Heihachi from Tekken, Bloodborne's Hunter, the Wipeout, Facear, FX350, Little Big Planet Sackboy, Parappa the Rapper. They look to be pretty solid, nice looking figures, and they're just for your collection to clutter your whatever surface you put stuff on to clutter. No word on price or anything yet.
They didn't list any characters I would probably get.
I wouldn't mind the Heihachi or the Crash, but yeah, I'm assuming if they sell well, we'll see more.
Yeah, I'm guessing we'll probably, if they sell well, we'll probably see some with the launch of the FF7 remake.
Yep, that's potential.
Because I mean, I would love to see a Cloud Strife one.
That's not. These are all Sony-owned IPs, though, so far. So we'll have to see if they can go outside of that.
So they're all just straight Sony?
Yeah, they're all Sony-owned property. Well, Tekken's not, I guess. Tekken's been published on other, so I guess that's not entirely true. Mostly.
Mostly Sony exclusive type stuff.
Mostly Sony exclusive. And Sony-owned titles for the most part. I guess Parappa. Right. I don't know if Parappa is Sony-owned or not. I think it is, but or Sony published at least. So it looks like the Hasbro toy movie universe thing is slowly falling apart. Looks like ROM, Space Knight, and Mask are most likely for sure cannexed. And oh wow, Micronauts, Dungeons and Dragons, and GI Joe look like they're still looking for 2020 and beyond releases. But with this, you never know. The rest of them might fall off to the side too. I will guess we'll see another GI Joe at minimum, but we're not sure. So interesting little thing that happened this last week. Phil Harrison got hired by Google. Now, Mr. Harrison has been with both Sony and Microsoft, working with their console divisions, and very, very highly placed within those organizations. So this has led folks to believe that Google might be looking to revamp its games, either enter the console space or revamp how they're doing games on their Android devices, perhaps. Not sure, but it's an interesting move, that's for sure. Of course, this wouldn't be the first time that someone would be hired outside of things that they've done for other companies. So they could just be that they were very impressed with his, business acumen and that. But so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Another thing that I just totally forgot what I was going to say. Dadgummit. I hate it when I do that. We're talking about oh yeah, it's another thing. A side note for Google. Google this week launched audiobooks. Or Android specifically. So you can now on the Play Store buy audiobooks. They're having a pretty big sale for the release of their stuff. A lot of books are on pretty good discount, and you can get a 50% discount on your first purchase from right within the app. There's a button you can push. Nintendo in December across all of its hardware platforms sold 2.6 million units. So between the SNES Classic, the 3DS, and the Switch, Switch being the lion's share of those. So they're doing well so that they can launch cardboard toys for you to play with your Switch. Yeah, you got a lot of noise going on there still. Yeah, so let's see. Yep, we had the God of War news. So this is a very Mark article because he's all about the virtual realities. But there is a article out about a technology now that is allowing you to touch things in virtual reality. It's a haptic feedback device that you put on the end of your thumb. You put on your thumb and your pointer and center finger, and allows you to get some tactile functionality for VR things. It's called the Go Touch VR. Or no, the French company is called Go Touch VR. Created the device called VR Touch that straps to your fingertips. This seems a long ways away from
full dive.
Full dive. It's an interesting way. I mean, yeah, you can use just three fingers to simulate grabbing something. I mean, and I think that's the key. I think it's more to simulate that you're touching something and there's a feel to it, but unless there's also some significant electromagnets or something in there that are pushing your fingers apart to give you that real resistance, it still won't be quite right.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, they're working on it. They're trying to, we're still a long ways from any of the sci-fi VR versus that we see, with Ready Player One and all this other stuff. Gentle reminder, if you haven't signed up for our Tuesday to Friday gaming news email newsletter, go to gamersledge.com and do so today. Okay, I'm done. So David Jaffe, speaking of God of War, one of the creators of God of War originally, had his studio had to let go of pretty much its entire game division today.
Dang, that's
so
sucks.
They had the studio and I'm called
Something.
Bartless Jones Supernatural Detective Agency. That's why I couldn't remember it, because it's the weirdest name for a game studio ever.
Yeah.
Was stood up in 2013 by Jaffe and Nick Conolios, something like that. And they first game that they offered was Drawn to Death, which you may remember was a multiplayer kind of arena shooter game.
Right.
Failed miserably and was not received well. Did not hang out very long. They just found out that their second game, which was unannounced, was canceled. And with that canceling, they had to lay off the vast majority of their staff. So good luck to those folks getting jobs in other locations and picking up where you can. And we'll have to see if Mr. Jaffe finds a way to get back in the game, or if he just fades off into darkness with his Twisted Metal and his God of War trophies all lined up in a row.
Getting back in the game.
Yes. I know it was bad. Toys R Us recently, or last year, toward the end of last year, did announce that they were going through bankruptcy proceedings. And today we got the news that the decision has been made to close somewhere in the order of 180 stores in the U.S.
Dang.
In the upcoming months. So again, those folks that are getting displaced, good luck to you. Hopefully find places to get jobs. I know the last few times I've been in a Toys R Us, they seem to be manning as few people as humanly possible.
Yeah, they seemed understaffed as it was, kind of.
Yeah, so no word on like the local one here, if that one's getting canned or not yet.
Right.
But don't go into a Toys R Us off that often. Typically go in there looking if I need like a Lego set, like right now for a present or something. I'll go in there because they tend to have pretty good stock on that. Occasionally they'll have a game sale. I know when we were doing the Toys to Life stuff, the Skylanders, that would be a good place to go to pick up Skylanders. They'd have some exclusives and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think Skylanders was like the last time I've even been in one.
So yeah, that is definitely a store that Amazon has had a good hand in shutting down. It's really only the only real, and then you still have your Targets and your Best Buy, or not Best Buys, your Walmarts and stuff. Although Walmart's toy sections are horrible these days. I haven't been in a Walmart toy section in forever, but there's just not that need necessarily so much, and in so many places you can get same or next day shipping from Amazon. We happen to live in one of those weird places where you can't. Well, they're not that weird. That's actually way more of that kind of area than there is the other one, but that's okay. Everything's based on the East Coast cities. So yeah, so there has been a rearranging of staff over in the Crystal Dynamics. First they pulled in the Lost Legacy co-director from he left obviously Naughty Dog and picked up into Crystal Dynamics, and now there has been a reorganization of staff across the board over in that section of world to work on Visceral. Did I get the right? No, wait a minute. Crystal Dynamics, and dang it, the article is failing me because I can't find the dang thing I'm looking for. Montreal, Adios Montreal. That's what I was trying to think of. No, wait a minute. No, Adios Montreal is working on the Guardians of the Galaxy game. Anyway, whichever studio over there with working with Crystal Dynamics, and maybe it's just Crystal Dynamics. I thought it was another one, but anyways, they've had a rearranging of staff to put all forces into the Marvel Avengers game that they announced last year. We don't have any words of it yet. I would assume we'll see a large presence of that at E3. So
for those of us who don't keep very good track of our studios and what they do, Any standout games that they have that I would possibly know?
Eidos Montreal does the Deus Ex series.
Okay. And Diamond.
Crystal Dynamics. I believe Crystal Dynamics did the last two Tomb Raider games.
Okay, got it.
I'm pretty sure they did both of those. But yeah, so they're actually good studio. Crystal Dynamics as a name has been around forever. This iteration, I think, is significantly different than the Crystal Dynamics that did Gex Enter the Gecko and shoot, what was their other big title around that same time period? Can't think of it. But there's been really good stuff coming out of these studios under the Square Enix banner. So it's nice to see that they're really putting kind of call all hands on deck to make sure that these licenses work. One could assume that with the issues with EA and Star Wars with Battlefront, that Disney/Marvel has really upped its interactivity with Square Enix to make sure that this is a successful venture.
Hopefully.
Maybe. So yeah, so let's see.
Do we have any news on what kind of game that's going to be, or do we
not
just know
at all? We just it's coming. That's it. We don't have any clue on to exactly what it is, except it's a multi-game deal. So there's more than one game coming, but we don't know what it is.
Okay.
So this would be an interesting one for Mark. Star Trek Online claims 5.2 million players over its lifespan. Which, you know, I guess technically includes me because I have started it twice, once on PC when it went free to play and once on PS4. So
I count for one technically because I started up on the PS4 too. So
yeah. So yeah, that's a pretty big thing. It is a fun game. I wish I cared enough to keep on playing it. The thing that I keep on thinking isn't really a thing is apparently really a thing because Detective Pikachu has started filming.
Yeah. Like live action?
I don't know. That's the way it makes it sound. I don't know. I'm very confused by this whole thing. I keep on thinking it's not really a thing and it's just this big joke and it keeps on being like it's a thing. Okay. So now here's where I wish we had someone who was an Xbox person on this show, more which we generally, as a general rule, don't have. And between the two of us, we really don't have.
Yeah.
So Xbox Game Pass is the streaming, except I don't think it's streaming. I think it's downloading. I don't remember. Service where you pay, I think it's like $8 a month or $10 a month, something like that. And you get access to a library of Xbox exclusive or other games. It's 100 plus Xbox One and Xbox 360 games, according to this article, and is getting a significant update, which is saying that Xbox One Microsoft exclusive titles, which there's like 2, are going to be available on the service day and date with the physical release. Which is a pretty big deal. So, you know, if you're, you know, if you don't want to spend, you know, if it is $10 a month, that's $120 a year. So if you don't want to only buy 2 games a year, if you'd rather spend that money playing this library of games, knowing that you're going to get day and date the, it's $60 for a 6-month subscription. So yeah. So that's there's an update on this article. Hold on one second. Xbox titles with the intention of being regular. Describe the service. Okay. I guess there was some concern that the games would only be on the service for a short time and then pulled. But it looks like the official line is that it's once it's on the service, it's a part of the service. So that sounds like a good deal for Xbox folks.
Yeah.
I wonder if Sony's going to have to respond with PlayStation Now, which I have absolutely no idea how well that is working for them.
So yeah, pretty much everything you just said. I just messaged Austin about it, see if he knew anything. He said about it's like $10 a month and you get a whole bunch of games. They're all right games. Most are for Xbox only though.
Yeah, they're it looks like they are really focused on Xbox exclusives for that service. Metal Gear Survive is a thing that's happening and happening soon. The beta seem to have very varied reactions. From it's pretty solid. It's the same gameplay from Metal Gear Solid 5, which most people seem to like. I did not play it, so I can't speak. But it is kind of, everybody feels the game would be served better by just not having the Metal Gear name in there. It seems to come off as pretty divisive when it's really, for the most part, a standalone thing. But yeah, it does recognize that it's using that same engine that Metal Gear Solid 5 used, which is kind of weird because a lot of people seem to call it Metal Gear 5, which there is a Metal Gear Solid series, and there's Metal Gear Solid, which is a separate series. Same characters, but different series. And that's just the engineer and me wanting to be technical and correct. The Guild Wars, which is a game you played for a while, Guild Wars 2 specifically, right?
Yeah.
The developers donated $3,500 to a fan or player who lost her home in a fire. Now, granted, $3,500 to help replace your home isn't a lot of money, but still, I mean, that's pretty significant for them to, dip into their coffers and go ahead and throw that out there. So,
yeah,
that's cool. Saw the Detective Pikachu movie news article again. Sorry, I'm still just kind of flabbergasted by that. Okay, there seems to be some concern amongst folks in the interwebs that Anthem, which has just been delayed till a 2019 release, may signal the death of BioWare as a developer. BioWare, obviously known for the Knights of the Old Republic and what's the Dragon Age and
Inquisition?
Well, the Dragon Age series,
right?
And the Mass Effect series, specifically 1, 2, and 3. I mean, Andromeda is a little bit different because it's actually completely different tech studio,
right? And probably didn't help.
But there's some concern that the game has slipped. The trends with EA on microtransactions and games as a service or long-lived games. BioWare's been known for their story-driven games, whereas you can't really do a game as a service with a heavy story. You can't give a lot of player agency. With like Knights of the Old Republic, you had good and evil. You had the Paragon path with Mass Effect, so kind of allowing you to guide how you experience the game. That's really hard with a game that's something like The Division. And that's what Anthem seems to be ramping up to be, as the Division in space, so to speak, or trying to take on being a third person, Destiny. So that's something we'll have to watch. I mean, there is another article in here somewhere. I didn't say anything about it, but it says that one of the BioWare studios is heavily in work on another Dragon Age. So maybe. I'm not sure if everyone just thinks that there's too much eggs in one basket or what's going on, but everybody's talking about the Nintendo Switch and I've read another article today that everybody's flocking to the Nintendo Switch, or all the developers are flocking to, trying to ride on the popularity of the console. I'm just curious if they're just flocking now. Are we looking at like a year and a half of minimal amounts of titles? I mean, we have no idea what the back half of 2018 looks like for the Nintendo Switch right now.
Right.
There are no announcements past like April.
I'm kind of hoping they hold off on the Pokemon titles for the time being, because otherwise I'm going to have issues.
But I'm just wondering, are we, is the console going to be able to keep going with the minimal amount of things, or is it going to become another Wii U situation where people kind of forget about it because, oh yeah, that was that cute gimmicky thing that we all bought because we all wanted Zelda, and then there were no more games for like 18 months. I don't think that that's what's going to happen, but it's still, with the way the Wii U went down, it just doesn't feel good right now.
Right. It's that nervous feeling of like, how's this going to turn out in the market type situation?
Yeah. So, World of Goo developer Tomorrow Corporation announces a game called 7 Billion Humans for Switch and PC. Yeah, it's a satirical game where humans now serve robot overlords. So 7 Billion Humans features a series of programming themed challenges, similar to another one of their games called Human Resource Machine. So 60 plus puzzle based new language. So it's, it looks like it's an interesting thing. We'll see where that falls out at.
I'll be honest. Where I heard you say World of Goo, I thought you said World of Goon, which then made me think of Titan AE.
And you and I are probably the only people alive that know what that movie is. Battlefield Gothic Armada 2 is a strategy game coming to, I believe, PC, if I remember correctly. Of course, I can't see it here. Anyway, it's based in the Warfield 40K universe. We'll have all 12 factions from the tabletop game. Man, looks like it's could potentially be a good thing. I didn't play Armada 1, so I'm not sure, but
sorry. Okay, so Armada is the name of the game, right? Or Armada?
Battlefield Gothic Armada 2.
Interesting.
Yes.
I don't know anything about that universe, but
yeah, it's the what did I say? Warhammer 40K universe. So it's something you could look up. Warhammer is a medieval tabletop, different variations of it, RPG to minifigures to different stuff. And then 40K is the same races, but space Marines. That's all I know about Warhammer 40K really is Space Marines. Let's see. I know there's a couple more articles in here I wanted to get to, but I'm not finding them right now. You have anything you wanted to talk about? Oh, our namesake of the show, we probably should talk about a little bit. You talked about one Monster Hunter. We're on the verge of another Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter World will launch in a couple days. We're filming this on Friday. So in 2 days, day and a half, we will have Monster Hunter World. It'll be a thing. It'll be out in the wild. There is a ton of anticipation for this game. There is a ton of hype about this game, and I will not be playing it.
So questions / anticipations. I want to kind of delve into a bit, but how do we think this is going to turn out? Because as I know I mentioned to you earlier, my kind of hopes for it at this point is kind of like what they did with Monster Hunter Stories, but focusing more on the hunter aspect of it. So it's kind of Skyrim-ish, where you have this open world, or at least some sort of like warp transport system, but it's more of your choice rather than the mission system of 3 that I've encountered. Where you go out, you get these quests from the quest boards, and there's like a campaign mode to it too, but there's also just the ability to go out in the world and just kill monsters if you want to, in the normal traditional Monster Hunter style if you want. But I doubt that's what it's going to become. I haven't seen that much about it except for the trailers, which are mostly cinematic, as I've understood it. The trailers have been, but at least the ones I've seen have been mostly cinematic.
Yeah, it seems like there's maybe a little more story to this than there has been in previous the last few Monster Hunters. There are not going to be any loot boxes or microtransactions of any kind, so it's
That's
free
good.
of all that stuff. The big thing, and you played the beta.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty much the majority of the game. I'm still not exactly sure how the online stuff works. If the online, you just join up to do specific hunts together, like what was in the beta or the demo, it was really a demo.
Right. Yeah.
or if that's a separate mode where it is more kind of that, hey, we're just going to go out and we're going to go out into the wild with 3 or 4 of us and we're going to go hunt big things.
Yeah.
I really kind of get the feeling that it's pretty much more that mission based core experience.
Right.
But yeah, I don't we'll get better ideas, I guess, after it's out.
Developers of Monster Hunter, if you're watching this and you're planning on a 5, please take these items into consideration for future endeavors. Please. Because I like your universe, but
Please?
give me more than just go kill thing.
So yeah, I guess I'm not that's it. I guess the EA stock dropped following the Anthem delay announcement. Do you remember anything about Anthem? Do you have any expectations or excitement for Anthem?
I don't have anything in my mind about what Anthem
Typical
is.
college kid, I tell you.
About Anthem, I finished my statement. You didn't let me finish.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But yeah, I don't even really know what it looks like or what's going to go on with it. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of actually looked like a sci-fi Monster Hunter, except it was set up more like a Division style story where you got a mission and you had to armor up, and it looked like it was ripe with opportunities for microtransactions and that type of stuff. It is definitely trying to be a Division / Destiny type continual growing game where they add more content as time goes on. So it's definitely not my type of game. I don't have much anticipation for it. It looked what they showed of it looked nice, but we're still looking at 2019. We're still over a year out from release, unless it is in January.
Another game coming out in the near future that I know I'm excited for, and that they've built from the ground up, as I understand it, again, Shadow of the Colossus for PS4.
Yes, that's coming up in March. It is pretty much a complete. What wasn't it?
I
March?
thought you said it was February. I don't know. I'll double check.
Okay. Sorry. I thought it was March. Oh yeah, February 6th. Sorry, you're right. February 6th. Fact checking squad is back in action. So we have February 6th. That is right. That's coming up soon. It is still the original game mostly, but yes, there's been rebuilt from the ground up, new visuals, there's new and classic control styles. And I believe there's at least 1 or maybe 2 Colossi that got cut from the original game that are included in this one.
Oh, there's more Colossi. I'm down for that.
I believe.
More things to kill. That is one of the few games where I'm okay, where you just gave me something to kill and I did it.
Even though you feel bad about it the whole time.
The sad music, yes. And you know it's wrong because there's dark, creepy tendrils attacking you.
Yeah, and they make it pretty clear that what you're doing isn't good in that game.
Yeah.
Sorry for spoiling anything for anyone, but you're kind of the bad guy.
If you haven't played it by now, you can't blame us for spoilers.
Well, you can. Mark is probably screaming in his grave right now. Well, not that he's
dead,
but he's a vampire, so I don't know. Whatever, just go with it.
Wasn't it a PS2 title originally?
Yeah, it's a PS2 game.
So then, yes,
with the PS3 reskin, HD reskin of that and Eco together in the same box, and now a redo of Shadow of the Colossus, which presumably means we're going to get a redo of Eco too if this does well, I would assume. Although that gameplay is going to be really hard to get back into.
Yeah,
that's a pain.
Yes, whack, grabbed, whack, grab, whack. Okay, is that the last? Nope, there's that one. The girl's almost the hole. Run, whack.
Yes, all with a stick.
Until the very, very end.
Yeah. Again, spoilers. Sorry. All right. So that pretty much kills the news. Monster Hunter, again, it was obviously the namesake of the show. for a little behind the scenes, this episode went from having a very full cast to 2 people. So there was probably going to be a little more discussion on a few other topics that other folks wanted to bring up, but life is life, and we're here for you. So thanks to Mitchell for being able to join us tonight.
You're welcome. I enjoy it.
All right. So any last second things before we close up shop here?
How far out are we from Black Panther yet?
Oh gosh.
It's next month though, isn't it?
I
think early next month.
So I haven't bought tickets yet. I don't remember. Hold on. It's coming up though soon.
I'm excited for that.
I didn't realize that there was just a thing on Facebook, I think popped yesterday, that we're 100 days out from Avengers 3, which was like, oh my gosh, really? February 16th. Yep, mid-February. So yeah, I'll have to figure out when we're gonna go see that.
Yeah. Schedule alignment, go. So yeah, we have February 16th is Black Panther, May 4th is Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp is July 6th, and Deadpool 2 is May 18th. Why are those out of order? I don't know, but they're out of order. Anyway, so it's Avengers Infinity War May 4th, Deadpool 2 May 18th, which is a different studio. But although now it's all owned by Disney, so I don't know how that works. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp on July 6th, all of this year. So yeah, that's kind of a big deal. That was the quickest selling thing,
pre-release or something. Yeah, there was like crazy. I had not really felt like there was a lot of hype for this movie, but apparently I am super out of touch. Apparently there was.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see it. So
well, I want to see it too, but I mean, I just didn't feel like there was the hype level for it, for, like, say, Avengers, or for Spider-Man or something like that. But apparently it's bigger than all those things. So,
apparently, who would have guessed it? Apparently they did.
Not me. Somebody did. So this is the part of the show where we offer our closing thoughts. While Mitchell tries to come up with one, I will stall by saying thank you to everyone who watches this video. Thank you to our Patreons, I guess they're our sponsors via Patreon, whatever you're called. Patriots.
They're patrons.
They're patrons. Patron. No, different. Wrong thing. Bad.
Patronus.
Man. And I should know all the names, or I should have had them written down ahead of time. So I will try to ramble them off. If I have missed someone, I apologize. We have Regina, Bobby, Arturo, I believe is still on that list. Justin, Regina, Ian, John, I think.
We apologize if we miss you.
I missed somebody. Sorry, Daniel, maybe. I don't remember if Daniel was on that list or not. Maybe he was. I can't remember. Anyway, thank you very much. Very much. Sorry, that's not my part of the world to keep track of, so I apologize if I missed anybody. But we do appreciate your support. If you have a subject you'd like us to tackle, if you have a game you'd like us to talk about, if you have any type of thing you want us to look at, you can go ahead and shoot us a note. You can email that to gamersledge@gmail.com or
comment on our videos,
or Facebook or Twitter or any of those things, and we will get that and bring it into you. I do not have any reader mail this week. I did not get any forwarded to me, so if you did submit some reader mail, we will get to it in the coming weeks. Yeah. So don't forget to like, subscribe, +1, heart, all those things. Yeah. I think that's pretty much most everything. I really need to write down this extra outro stuff. I've never written it down, and I've screwed this up every single time I try to do this. So yeah, one of these days I'll actually do that. All right. So in that stalling of time, do you have a last minute or a closing thought?
Looking forward to 2018 and the games that are coming out thus far and what's going to be coming out in the near future, and movies, games, all of that looks pretty good. So we're going to see how this broke college kid handles all that.
The funny thing is 2018 is like a normal to good year looking for video games, but coming on the heels of 2017, it looks like absolute crap. Just so much stuff hit in 2017 and so much of it was good. Yeah, we need a couple of down years just so I can catch up.
God, my catch-up period after college is going to be fun.
It's one of those okay, we're just cutting the line here and we're starting fresh, because you'll just start a whole new backlog after that. So, I'm looking forward to some stuff. Really do recommend Electric Dreams if you can get that. Breaking Benjamin, personal favorite, one of a band I like, just announced a new album. Ember drops in April. Don't remember the exact date. First single is out. Red Cold River. It's the name of the song. Not my favorite track ever, but it's pretty solid, old school Breaking Ben. So,
like how old school? Like, give me a song.
Like Cold off the original album.
Okay, so like Cold or Diary or
more cold, more screamy.
Okay.
More screamy, more metal riffy kind of stuff. So at least on that one, who knows with the rest of the album. I mean, it's kind of a contrast to
whatever the
Dark Before Dawn, or whatever the last album was called. Can't remember.
Dusk Before Dawn.
Dusk Before Dawn. Yeah, something like that. And the because that had a much
softer
kind of thing to it for the most part. This one looks like it might be going back a little bit harder stuff, or this might just be the one hard song on an album where the rest of it's more like the previous album. Who knows? Both styles are good. I'll go with either one. Nice to see him being able to continue, even though he's basically in permanent, constant, non-ending pain. Guess they say art is suffering, so I guess he's making some good art, I guess. So yeah, that's all I can think of. Again, thank you everyone. Thank you for your subscribing. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for any emails or comments you submit. And we will see you again next week. We should have a more or less fuller, we should be back to our standard 4-ish people next week. Let's say. I thought that was going to be this week though. So we'll see next week. Until then, Mitchell, again, thank you for joining me. This has been Gamersledge Podcast, episode 275. And until next week, game on.
Game out.